Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the Poorly Educated Podcast, the only show that'll explain America's politics like your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. Loud, confused, and with gravy stains of wisdom. We're on day 34 of the Great Government Sleepover, also known as the shutdown. And folks, Washington ain't just dysfunctional, it's full-blown possessed. The lights are off, the phones don't work, and somewhere in the White House, Donald Trump is probably bragging that the shutdown's tremendously efficient, because it's the first time in history the government ain't wasting any money by not doing anything at all. Segment 1, the shutdown nears the precipice. 34 days without a paycheck and still no common sense. Now Trump says he won't be extorted by Democrats, which is funny, because this man got extorted by a porn star, a steak company, and his own NFT buyers. He's telling Senate Republicans to go nuclear, and not the fun kind, like glowing mutant frogs, but the filibuster kind. He wants to end the 60-vote rule, so Republicans can reopen the government without Democrats. It's the political version of saying, fine, I'll play by myself, which, coincidentally, is what Trump's done his whole life. Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson's out here painting Trump as big-hearted. Yeah, the same guy who shuts off food stamps for 42 million people 'cause it's good for the economy. Big-hearted like a gator in church, y'all. Johnson's doing the good cop thing while Trump's the angry landlord. It's like if The Odd Couple was written by Satan. And Democrats? Oh, they're standing their ground too. They want to extend those Affordable Care Act subsidies so folks don't get sticker shock during open enrollment. Basically, we got one side saying health care for all, and the other saying health care for none unless it's a golf injury. Both parties are using Americans as bargaining chips in a game of political poker where the chips are kids' lunch money. I tell ya, this ain't no shutdown. It's a political hostage crisis with bad lighting and worse haircuts. Segment 2, the SNAP benefits crisis, when the only thing left in the pantry is pride. Y'all, let's talk about this SNAP mess, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as food stamps, or as Trump calls it, unnecessary socialism unless it's for my campaign dinners. 42 million Americans, that's 1 in 8, just had their food benefits cut in half. Imagine telling your family, don't worry, y'all, we can eat half a sandwich tonight and the other half next month. Now the courts tried to step in, bless their hearts, and told the government, hey, maybe don't starve people during an election year. But the administration pulled a slick move called malicious compliance. They said, fine, we'll use the contingency fund, but only $5.25 billion worth, half of what's needed. It's like paying your rent with monopoly money and saying, well, technically, I paid something. The USDA claimed it couldn't touch the fund, but turns out they were lying harder than a fisherman with a dry line. They scrubbed the truth right off their website like it was a bad Yelp review. The court order just forced them to do what they already knew they could. So now 42 million people get half their benefits, and the White House gets to say, look, we complied, while blaming Democrats for the other half. That's not governance. That's gaslighting with paperwork. And here's the kicker. Food banks are already emptier than Trump's empathy. They're warning of impossible burdens, which is bureaucrat talk for we're screwed. So while the politicians bicker, the only thing folks are stockpiling is resentment. If you hear a loud rumble in D.C. this week, it ain't thunder. It's the sound of 42 million stomachs growling in unison. Segment 3, the eve of election. Vote like your dinner depends on it because it does. Tomorrow's the big off-year election day, y'all, and America's about to decide whether we want more chaos or slightly less chaos with better grammar. We got three big showdowns: Virginia, New Jersey, and New York City. In New York, socialist firebrand Zohran Mamdani's leading the pack with free buses, rent freezes, and $30 an hour wages by 2030. Democrats are terrified he's too radical, while Republicans are terrified he might actually make life affordable. Cuomo's running as an independent, which is political speak for "I couldn't take rejection." Meanwhile, Curtis Sliwa's still out there with his beret, acting like the city's biggest problem is still graffiti. Buddy, we got $6,000 rent for closets. The graffiti's the least of it. Down in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger's holding a solid lead against winsome Earl Sears. The race is basically abortion rights versus saying the word abortion while pretending it doesn't matter. Earl Sears once called abortion genocide, but now says her personal position doesn't matter. Honey, if you run for governor and your personal position doesn't matter, you might as well run for weather vane. And in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill's leading Jack Ciattarelli, who somehow managed to make Chris Christie look moderate. The big issues are abortion and energy costs, because nothing says New Jersey like paying $600 to keep your house warm while debating who controls your uterus. The whole country's watching to see if Democrats go full progressive or stay moderate. It's like choosing between a vegan salad or a cheeseburger. One's good for you, but the other gets you more votes. Segment 4. Trump vs. Constitution. Tariffs, taxes, and temper tantrums. Coming up this week, the Supreme Court's gonna hear learning resources versus Trump. And y'all, this ain't about school supplies. It's about presidential power. The question is whether Trump can use emergency powers to slap tariffs like he's Oprah giving out cars. You get a tariff, you get a tariff, everyone gets a tariff. He's already raked in $88 billion with these taxes and wants another $1.8 trillion over the next decade. But here's the twist. Even conservative justices are side-eyeing him. See, they created the major questions doctrine, which says presidents can't do big, crazy stuff unless Congress explicitly says so. But now that Trump's doing big, crazy stuff, they're like, oh, maybe we didn't mean him. If the court rules against him, the global economy goes wobbly. If they rule for him, they basically hand the presidency a magic wand that turns democracy into a yard sale. Either way, it's going to be historic, and probably dumb. Segment 5. War, Tweets, and Pete Hegseth. From West Wing to Wild West. Trump's out here threatening military action against Nigeria, on social media no less, saying he'll go guns a-blazing. And Pete Hegseth, our new Secretary of Defense/Facebook warrior, just replies, "Yes, sir," like this is a Call of Duty lobby. They're even calling it the Department of War again, which is about as subtle as renaming the DMV the vehicle death zone. Nigeria's president clapped back, saying most of the victims of the violence Trump's citing are Muslims, not Christians. So either Trump didn't read the brief, or he's mixing up Nigeria with Narnia again. Meanwhile, Trump's been bombing Latin American drug boats with drones for 61 days straight, and now the war powers clock ran out. But the White House says, oh, don't worry, that don't count as hostilities because no Americans are in danger. That's like saying, I didn't start a bar fight, I just threw bottles from across the room. To make it worse, they pulled our best aircraft carrier from the Middle East to chase drug boats. We got a carrier gap, folks. That's like taking the only cop off duty in a bad neighborhood to chase a catfish with a jet ski. Segment 6. Wall Street's split personality. AI boom meets empty wallet syndrome. Now let's talk money, or the illusion of it. The S&P's near record highs, but 3 out of 4 stocks are actually falling. It's like your cousin's teeth. The one good one's doing all the work. Nvidia, Microsoft, and Amazon are keeping the whole market alive like jumper cables on a dead tractor battery. The government's shutdown means no official data, so Wall Street's flying blind. Just vibes and caffeine. Even the Federal Reserve's basically guessing. And Warren Buffett? The man sitting on $381 billion in cash. When the Oracle of Omaha ain't buying, you know something smells worse than week-old catfish in July. And then Kimberly-Clark just bought Kenvue for $48 billion. Huggies meets Tylenol, y'all. Investors hated it so much, they sent Kimberly-Clark's stock down 13%. I reckon it's the first time in history folks looked at diapers and aspirin and said, "You done overpaid for poop and headaches." Segment 7. Fires, storms, and fallout. When it rains, it pours and also burns. We end tonight with a Bronx fire that left a brave FDNY firefighter badly hurt. Prayers for him, y'all. The man went into a burning building on East 171st like a hero, while the rest of us can't even go into the DMV without losing our temper. That's real courage. And down in Jamaica, Hurricane Melissa, the worst storm since records began, left destruction everywhere. 19 dead, billions in damage, and now the U.S. is telling tourists to reconsider travel. Reconsider? Buddy, the airport's underwater, and the hotels are fish condos now. The scariest part? This storm hit just 15 months after the last one. The island barely got off life support before getting punched again. Climate change ain't theory no more. It's reality with a bad attitude. And with our own government shut down, even U.S. disaster funds are in limbo. It's like Mother Nature's sending eviction notices while Congress argues over who forgot to pay the light bill. In closing, so there you have it, folks. America on day 34 of Operation Figure It Out. The government's broke, the courts are mad, the food's gone, the markets are drunk, and the president's tweeting war orders like it's karaoke night. But hey, at least we got the Poorly Educated podcast to keep you company through it all. Stay tuned, stay fed if you can, and remember, we may be poorly educated, but we sure as hell ain't blind.